Welcome back, sci-fi fans. This is Greg from Greg Reviews Sci-Fi, and today we're going to review the first Colony series by Ken Lozito. Now, watching my reviews, you might get the impression that I'm the super speediest of all readers, and I actually do read pretty fast, but I've been reading this series over the course of maybe 4 months. The first one is called Genesis, and I don't know when it came out, but I probably read it 4 or 5 months ago, and it was good. So typically, when I buy books, I'll look and see how many are in the series, and I'll just go to Amazon and I'll go to the series and I'll just say buy all. And it trips me up sometimes because I think I have all the books, but really the authors continue to release books. And that happened to me on this book, on this series. I thought it was a 3-book series. So when I finished book 3, Legacy, I thought I'm going to do a review on this entire series. So then I go to Amazon and I'm just, looking at cover art and, different things like that for this series. And there's a book 4. It's called Sanctuary. I have not read it, so this review is going to be of the first Colony series, books 1 through 3. I did go ahead and buy 4. But I have to say, this little grouping of books, the first 3, they really pair together really well. When I finished book 3, I thought, man, this ended well. There's no story plots or storylines that need to close up. It was really a nice finish. But I guess Ken Lozito was world building, because this next book, if I look at the description, it's utilizing some of the artifacts or remnants they found on the planet that they're on. So let's just talk about this book really quick. So as I said before, it starts on book 1, Genesis, and the main character, Connor Gates, is like this special operations, like go in and kill people and save hostages, but he does it in space, which is really cool. And you know that this is like a military sci-fi. So it's kind of space opera-y, but I would say it's more military sci-fi, which is pretty good. I was just like, I needed a fix for ships, like ships killing other ships, or ships, lasering other things, and I didn't get it with Genesis, unfortunately. Not really. I mean, it was more like they use ships to board space stations and attack other things, but it was good. I really liked it, and I had already bought all 3 books, so I powered through it. And what happens is that Connor, he's, and this is going to be a little bit of spoilers. So at the same time Connor is active in this special operations, I think they call it Ghost Recon. He's in the special operations group. They're building the first colony ship to another planet. And it was supposed to be like, I think it was like an 80-year journey, something like that. And the book cuts to like different news clips or like where they're talking about it with other characters. So you kind of know what's going on in the background, but it's not the main premise of the story. And Connor has a son, and he wouldn't really have been a good candidate to go to the colony anyway. Plus, he's a soldier, and they're sending scientists and things like that. So anyway, he attacks this. He tries to storm this space station, and things go horribly wrong. And in order to save him, his friend has to put him on this colony mission. And I'm not spoiling. It is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's not a a tremendous spoiler. Anyway, so Connor wakes up and, many, many years later, read the book for more details, but many, many years later, and he's on this colony world. And he's not supposed to be. So it's very, very interesting. They brought no soldiers on this mission. I don't know if they expected, wildlife to be nice, or if they thought, there's no chance of aliens at all. Whatever they thought, they brought like cops, but not real soldiers. And it becomes evident that Connor has a very critical role to fill in this new world. I really liked it. He was very uncomfortable. He was trying to find his place. The book really flowed really well. And it was interesting. It wasn't something I really would have picked. But it was good. And the last generation ship, well, this isn't a generation ship. They're in cryosleep. So he just wakes up at the other side, which I think is more book worthy, right? Generation ships, I just don't like them. You can tell that by if you read my Numenon, I can't even say it, book review. Just bad. But anyway, so book 2, that's book 1. So book 2 moves on to kind of why Connor got put on this colony ship in the first place, and some of the problems Earth is going through, right? And we learn that there is an enemy, and I'm not going to spoil who or what they are, but they're called the Vemus. And the colony ship has been dropping little beacons in order to communicate back with Earth. So it's like a road that only leads one place in space, right? So if you come across it and you follow it, one end's going to lead to Earth, the other end's going to lead to the colony. Seemed probably like a good idea until someone finds your highway to your home world or your colony world. But it was an interesting use of. It's something that I think, you'd have to do in real life. The technology was. They got to the colony world and they have cryosleep, but yet we don't have faster than light communication. So it's really kind of a weird mix of modern technology, future technology, and maybe I'll call it near future technology. Then Legacy really, that's book 3. Legacy kind of wraps up in a nice bow these Vemus characters that you'll learn about. And we learn about what's going on at Earth. We learn about where the Vemus came from. We learn all of these pretty critical things. And at the end of book 3, it wraps up the story in a nice little bow, like a story arc, and bloop, finishes. Which is really great, because then I can stop and move on to another series. Now, I'll come back to book 4, Sanctuary, but if you're buying these, I would say you can read book 1, and it's a standalone book. Books 2 and 3 kind of go together, but you can read books 1, 2, and 3 together, and it makes a lot of sense and is really a great book. I would not start with book 2. I would not start with book 3. Start with 1 and either stop there, continue to 3, or continue on, to 4. I would bet that 4 is going to be a standalone book while Mr. Lozito is world building and setting up his characters and all that stuff. So let's get to the review. Story, I gave it an 8. I liked how the book 1 kind of stands alone. I liked how book 3 ends it. I've got so many series going on. Like, honestly, when I saw this 4th book, I was just like, I cannot have another series that continues to go on forever. And then on Amazon, it's like recommended, and it's like book 8 of the Lost Starship series by Von Heppner. I'm like, oh man, I think I only have like books 4 or 5 of that, and then there were other ones in my recommended. So I really, I really wish book 3 was it. Hopefully book 4 is a new story arc that only takes a couple of books. That would be cool. I'll let you know because I am going to read it. I can't stop. So all these series I cannot stop. Characters, I give it an 8. I liked Connor. I thought he was believable. I thought it was real. I thought his experiences were both valuable and not crazy, right? Like he didn't have, he wasn't like super smart and the strongest person in the colony and the best eyesight and and kind of like, if it wasn't just, if it wasn't for him, obviously he's the key to the story, the protagonist, but I feel like other characters really helped him and he built a team, and I really like that. Pace, I also gave 4 stars, an 8 out of 10. The pace was excellent. I liked it a lot. Originality, I gave it a 7. It was all the same stuff you read, just done in a different way. I thought the Venus was somewhat unique, but it had elements of other things. I can't really think of any. I don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to give you books that it's like, which I know it sucks for maybe a review channel, but not to tell you what books it's like. But if I tell you what the Venus are, it really spoils it, and then it's like, meh, then there's no point in reading the book. So technology, I gave it 3 stars, so 6 out of 10. It was really like 3.5 stars, I guess. But the technology, I thought they could have done a better job on the technology. But it's still 3.5 stars. It's still good. It's still, like I said, it's future tech, little more near future tech and modern tech. Near future meaning cryo sleep. They're using like propulsion engines, really pushing the spacecraft to its destination. And I think that there's probably better ways to do that. You could have, the point of a colony ship, I think, is when you invent a technology like a Einstein-Rosen bridge, or like you understand, break FTL or something like that. That's when you go, hey, it's not reasonable to build a colony ship and go somewhere. So that really wasn't the case here, but it was decent. It was decent tech. So all in all, I would say, these books were worth reading. I don't know if I would go out and buy them unless you're, unless you have a lull in your other series. If it was 3 books and that's it, I would say pick them up, read them, consume them, be done with them. But since it's an ongoing series, I would say, pick it up if you like military sci-fi. If you like, man, I don't want to spoil it, but if you like medical sciences, medical sci-fi, if that's a thing, if you like that sort of thing, it might be worth picking up. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I bought book 4, but there are so many series out there, so I just want to make sure that you've read some of the 10 out of 10 books out there, and use these as your backup books, kind of like the Richard Fox series and stuff like that. Just use these as in between books. But I appreciate you watching. Please hit that like, subscribe. Like my videos on Facebook, share them with your friends. I would appreciate it. Have a little help to get my channel out there. And if you have any questions, or you've read these books and you think they're terrible, or you think they're amazing, or you disagree or agree, just let me know in the comments. I'm happy to have a discussion with you, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye-bye.